Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my weekly reading recap. Got so much to talk about, got so many stacks of books here to go through, recent reads, planned TBRs, what I'm currently reading. So let's just jump into it. Let's start with what I read the past week. May come as no surprise, I've been yapping about it for the past 2 weeks or so, but I did finish Moby Dick by Herman Melville this past week, and I enjoyed it. I'll save my thoughts from this video because I did make a separate one completely around this book. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's quite a long one, so yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and the process of sitting down to read this book got me back into actually sitting down and dedicating time to open a book and read. Previously, I would read pages here and there, and majority of it was audiobook. It's been that way for about the past 2 months or so. I've been majority of my time consuming books through audio, which is fine and dandy. It's better than doing nothing at all, but this book got me back into actually reading physical books again, which I will be very happy about. And yeah, so finished that book. Speaking of which, with physical books and audiobooks, I also finished book 3 of the Murderbot Diaries on audio. This is book 1. I don't have book 3. I'm not going to pay, if you can see that, I'm not going to pay $20 for a 150-page book. And there is no wait for my public library to get them on audio. So I picked up book 3, Rogue Protocol of the Murderbot Diaries. About 4 hours long. Listened to that sporadically throughout the week, and it was pretty good. It was very similar to the first two. I think it might have been my favorite. They all sort of all blend together for me currently, but very, very good. And I always like to have a book going on audio. Like I said, it's been predominantly audiobooks for me for the past couple of months or so. So I finished book 3 of the Murderbot Diaries, and book 4 had no wait, so I picked that up as well. Still currently chunking through that. I may actually finish it tomorrow at work, recording this on Sunday, so tomorrow will be Monday. Got about an hour or so of the audiobook left. Like I said, it's about 4 hours long, so not a super long book. But yeah, that's sort of what I got going on audio. These books are definitely good for that purpose. I don't know, they're very plot driven, which is interesting to hear on audio. Keeps you engaged. There's some funny one-liners in it that sort of catch you off guard, which is very, very cool to see. And yeah, it's been good. As far as book pickups are concerned, I made a video about that last week as well, so nothing new to report in that regard. Or do I? I may have captured a couple of other books under my wing, but I'll make a whole video separate to that because my credit card has been burning these past couple of weeks. So we got too many to account for in terms of just going through it in this video. Let's go through what I'm currently reading, which are these 4 books. Obviously not this one. I'm not reading this one. This is to symbolize the 4th book of the Murderbot Diaries, how I'm listening to it on audio. But just take a gander at these 4 books that I'm reading and how vastly different they are. And I think that's what I like doing, is having my books be different. So depending on what mood I'm in or how I'm feeling, I can find a book that is suiting to that desire, if that makes sense. Obviously you got book 4 of the Murderbot Diaries. Do that on walks or work or what have you, and it's going pretty well. I'll probably stop the series there. I know there's a whole host of books following it, but I may hang it up following book 4. It's been pretty good, but not really interested in going much further. The next book I'm reading, which is part of my first ever like TBR that I have made. I know, crazy, I'm a heavy mood reader, but this was following reading Moby Dick. I wanted to pick up Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, and I am loving this. I've only been reading this for about 4 or 5 days now, and I'm exactly halfway through. I just finished book 3 in this novel. It's split up into 6 books, and so just finished book 3, and it is amazing. Not at all what I expected it to be. I shared my thoughts a little bit in my previous video, which is doing actually really well, so thank you guys so much for the support on that video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. A sort of chill Friday evening in the life for me, so give that one a watch if that at all interests you. But yeah, loving Crime and Punishment thus far. Not at all what I expected it to be, and surprisingly readable. Obviously that depends on the translation you get. I read various translations, all of the same passage online, and I landed on the Richard Pevere and Larissa Volokhonsky translation. I think that just vibed the best for me and read the most like a native English novel. I know you're missing some of the Russian nuance in it and some of the characteristics of it, but to me that's what I valued most, was sort of the readability of it, and loving it thus far. No spoilers. I may have a full video coming out on this book just because it's so infamous as well. Speaking of varying genres and tastes, I just got this literally 24 hours ago, and I'm eating this up like it is a 5-star meal. That is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, if you haven't read this, there's no way you haven't heard of this series. It is uber popular on all of BookTube, BookTok, Goodreads, and for popular reason. I think I needed something, and this ultimately has been the book. Well, I guess that's not true. Moby Dick was, but this book has been flying by for me. Like I said, I have gotten this book like literally to the minute, probably 24 hours ago in the mail. And I am about 60% of the way through, and I cannot put it down. It is pretty good, and I'm glad it's a big series. So stay tuned for the book haul regarding this one. But yeah, very good, sort of a fantasy with a hint of romance. If I had to describe it for this first installment of the series, I would say it's Hunger Games meets Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. I cannot wait to get into the rest of the series. Picked this up. I actually picked up the box set on Amazon for the book sale that they were doing. I got the entire series paperback in the box set for $70, which is cheaper than getting it at half price books with my 10% off coupons. And I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and do that. And I also had like a $5 credit because I always select the like deliver on Amazon. You can make it delivered to you later and they'll give you money back as a credit. So I had those banked up for a couple of orders I had. So I got it for like $6 or $7 cheaper than that. So I got it for $62-ish. Pretty good. But yeah, loving this. I'm flying through it. It is nice to switch between, like I said, with the mood that I'm in, something heavier like Crime and Punishment. I'm more apt to read this in the mornings when my brain is firing on all cylinders. And then something like, obviously it's been the weekend, so I've had no work and no responsibilities really, so my brain is always firing on all cylinders. But this is something that I can pick up in the evening after work and just get lost in, and I'm loving it. I have my raccoon bookmark in it as well that my sister made for my birthday, and a little tassel because I like tassels on my fantasy books. So yeah, Throne of Glass, I'm liking it. It's not like some cheesy romance. There's like elements of that which I am actually enjoying. I don't read a whole lot of romance books, so having that sparsed in throughout has been good. Very different than Crime and Punishment. And keeping this different train going in terms of what I'm reading, I've picked back up recently. This week, obviously. I'm still flipping through and paging through Before Bed, The Rag and Bone Shop of the Heart. This is just a giant poetry anthology about various topics, things about nature, brotherhood, fatherhood, parenting, things like that. It says it's poems for men. So, yeah, it's very short stories, poetry, and things of that nature, and it's been pretty good. I read, 5-10 pages of this before bed, slowly chipping my way through. I got a couple of tabs in here as well for some neater passages that I liked. And yeah, that goes to show, I guess, my varying degrees of reading. And I guess it starts, they sort of like, depending on what time of day it is basically what I'm reading. So in the mornings, I wake up, go to the gym, come back, make breakfast, shower. Before work, I'll knock out some pages of Crime and Punishment. At work, I'll listen to this sci-fi audiobook, The Murderbot Diaries. I'll get home from work, read the Throne of Glass series, and just sort of get lost in that world. And then before bed, I'll read some poetry, short stories just before bed to I guess send me to sleep. And it's been good. Enjoying reading physical books again, which is always nice and always welcome, which brings me to my next topic here, which was supposed to be my first TBR. I'm a mood reader by heart, and I never have a plan of what book I'm gonna read after my next one. So I'll sort of give you a rundown of how I've chosen my previous books. So a couple of weeks ago, I finished Clockwork Orange. It was about probably a month ago or so. And I wanted to pick up Crime and Punishment afterwards because I thought that they had some pretty good similarities. And Clockwork Orange mentioned Crime and Punishment a couple of times throughout. So I was like, oh, hey, perfect time, I'll pick it up. But saw a play about a week later, and one of the books mentioned in the play was Moby Dick. One of the most frequently mentioned books was Moby Dick. So my mood switched. I wanted to pick up Moby Dick, and I read that. But and now this just goes to show where my mood has been. Following Moby Dick, I was like, oh, I want to make a TBR for the first time ever. And something sparked into my mind that, hey, June 16th is coming up, which is Bloomsday, which is the national Irish holiday where everyone reads James Joyce's Ulysses, because the book Ulysses takes place on June 16th. And so they made a holiday about it where everyone reads the book. And I was like, hey, I want to be set to read the book on June 16th. And so I made this TBR. Here are books to prepare me for June 16th. And so here they are. I made my first TBR following Moby Dick. I was like, I'll read A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. I had already read Dubliners by James Joyce, was familiar with some of his writing styles, I'll say, but Portrait definitely delves into it a bit more. I'll read The Odyssey following that, because Ulysses is based off of The Odyssey, a bit more paradoxical, obviously. And then these two books will probably take me 5 weeks to get through, just because how dense they are. And it will set me up perfectly for June 16th to start Ulysses, and with this companion, guide to Ulysses alongside with it. Well, lo and behold, my sister convinced me to start reading Throne of Glass. She said, hey, she's been reading it for about a month now. She said, hey, I think you'd really like it. She's on book 4 by now. And I wanted someone to talk, because the books that I've been reading, not a whole lot of people are also reading them in my family. So I wanted someone to talk about books with, and I impulse bought the box set of Throne of Glass a couple of days ago and have been reading that ever since. So between now and June 16th, I'm gonna try to plow my way through Throne of Glass, as well as finish up Crime and Punishment, read Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, The Odyssey, and then hopefully get to Ulysses by June 16th. We'll see. I got some lofty goals, but alas, I also don't have to start it on June 16th, though. I just thought it would be cool to start the book on Bloomsday. Sort of stupid, I know, and it's not like I'm gonna like wait. I thought about like waiting another year to start it next June 16th because there's a lot of allusions in this book, a lot of Shakespearean allusions, a lot of, you know, references to other great works, and so reading some of those before reading Ulysses, I think it would just make a bit more sense. But also, who cares at the end of the day? Like, who actually cares how well read you are? I just wanted to read the book on Bloomsday because I thought it would be funny. And yeah, that's sort of how my brain is working, and I just got this ever-growing TBR surrounding me, and I'm fully back into the mood of reading things. Like I said, the books I have picked up, well, spoilers, I guess I got the full box set of Throne of Glass, so that part of the video may be a little dull, but I got a couple of books else between then. I'll make a video sort of showcasing those as a wide variety again. I'm a mood reader by heart. You could just see my bookshelves behind me, like, I guess my tastes, so to speak. I mean, you can see Game of Thrones, you can see In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust, Mosquito Land, Pachinko. I read anything. The complete works of Jane Austen, the full Sherlock Holmes by Sir Conan Doyle. If it's on paper and it seems interesting to me, I'll read it. But really loving Throne of Glass as of now. And with that, I think we'll end it here. I've been yapping a bit, and I need to get back to reading this book because I need to know what happens. And yeah, I'm flying through this and loving every page of it, I'll say. But thanks for watching up until this point. If you have, appreciate you. Hope you've had a great week of reading. Consider subscribing if you're new. Give it a like if you liked it and things of that nature. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bye.